May 16, 2024, News Report 1. On May 16, 2024, the White House announced measures to strengthen the U.S. solar manufacturing industry in response to unfair trade practices from China. The new measures include reinstating tariffs on solar products from 4 Southeast Asian countries, no longer exempting tariffs on bifacial solar panels, monitoring Chinese imports and addressing product oversupply issues, providing subsidies to support U.S. solar cell manufacturing and technology development. Earlier, on May 14, the U.S. government announced an increase in the battery tariff on Chinese solar panels from 25% to 50%. 2 years ago, President Biden, at the request of U.S. companies, exempted solar panels from 4 Southeast Asian countries from tariffs, and the exemption is set to expire in June this year. Solar energy companies in these 4 Southeast Asian countries are mainly founded by Chinese companies to assemble products in these countries to circumvent U.S. tariffs. Biden had stated that the 2-year tariff suspension was to reduce uncertainty for U.S. companies and workers and ensure that U.S. factories are prepared to increase capacity. News Report 2. U.S. Commerce Secretary Raimondo stated during a Senate hearing on May 15 that, based on national security considerations, the Commerce Department will announce a management plan for Chinese connected cars this fall. Raimondo pointed out that Chinese-imported connected cars are equipped with thousands of sensors and chips, and the software in the car can send information around the vehicle back to China, posing a high national security risk that the U.S. government must address. Raimondo also said the U.S. will try to avoid Chinese car companies setting up factories in Mexico to avoid U.S. tariffs. In February this year, President Biden signed an executive order requiring the Commerce Department to assess Chinese connected cars. News Report 3. Japan's Nikkei News reported that the U.S. aircraft carrier Reagan ended its 8 years and 8 months mission and returned to the U.S. from the Yokosuka base in Japan on May 16. Since October 2015, Reagan's main mission has been to monitor and alert the Taiwan Strait and Korean Peninsula situations in the surrounding waters. When U.S. Ambassador to Japan Newman bid farewell to the crew at the Yokosuka base, he said Japan is an excellent host country and thanked the Japanese people and the U.S. military. Another nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, the Washington, will be deployed in the Indo-Pacific region in the second half of this year, replacing the Reagan. The Washington had been deployed in Yokosuka base from 2008 to 2015, so it is familiar with the region. This is the U.S.'s rotation system to ensure there is no combat capability vacuum. News Report 4. According to Central News Agency, British Defence Minister Shapps stated in a speech in London on May 15 that the British patrol ship Spey had passed through the Taiwan Strait in February this year to support freedom of navigation in the Taiwan Strait. At the time, the British government did not publicly announce the cruise operation, but both China and Taiwan were aware of it. Shapps pointed out that since 2021, Britain has regularly deployed warships in the Indo-Pacific region. In addition to the Spey, Britain also has another patrol ship, the Tamar, in the region. The British Ministry of Defence stated that the Spey's passage through the Taiwan Strait was a planned deployment operation and fully compliant with international law. News Report 5. According to Bloomberg, there was an explosion of a chemical transport truck at a chip plant of TSMC in Phoenix, Arizona, USA, causing serious injuries to the driver. At the time of the incident, an outsourced contractor was cleaning up waste sulfuric acid at the factory, and an abnormality occurred when the driver used a pipeline to transport the waste sulfuric acid to the chemical transport truck, resulting in an explosion. The factory started production in April this year and is expected to mass-produce 4-nanometer chips in the first half of 2025. TSMC stated that the accident did not damage the facilities and pipelines of the chip factory and did not affect its operations. News Report 6. According to the Wall Street Journal, Microsoft plans to relocate 800 AI engineers from China to work overseas, including in the United States, Ireland, Australia, and New Zealand. Microsoft's Asia-Pacific research and development team in China has a total of 7,000 engineers, with most of them in China. The plan to relocate mainly involves engineers studying cloud computing. It is reported that Microsoft has started sending emails to engineers in China, asking if they are willing to work in other countries, and requesting a reply by June 7. If agreed, visas will be prepared and relocation arrangements will be made, otherwise they will be laid off. This move is mainly in response to the tense situation between China and the United States. The U.S. government is planning to restrict the export of AI technology, requiring companies like Microsoft to obtain licenses to provide AI products and services to Chinese customers. Meanwhile, Microsoft has invested billions of dollars worldwide in building data centers and AI infrastructure, covering multiple areas such as cloud computing and gaming. Due to the U.S. government's restrictions on the export of AI technology, China's AI development is restricted, so Chinese AI engineers may choose to work overseas as a way out. News Report 7. According to Kyodo News, data released by the Japanese government shows that Japan's GDP fell by 2% in the first quarter of this year, lower than the expected 1.5%, marking the second consecutive quarter of economic decline. The government stated that the first quarter decline was related to a drop in car sales. Toyota Motor, at the beginning of this year, stopped production due to data falsification issues, which prevented shipments and had a significant impact on exports. At the same time, personal consumption in Japan in the first quarter fell by 0.7% compared to the previous quarter, marking the fourth consecutive quarter of decline. This has also led to a continuous rise in prices in Japan, as demand for consumer goods such as smartphones and batteries is low among the Japanese population. News Report 8. Recently, a series of cases involving Chinese people forging documents has occurred in Japan. These cases are mainly to assist in obtaining detention permits or national documents in Japan, in order to obtain residency permits or find jobs. The first case occurred in Tokyo, where Tokyo police arrested Wang Jiarui, the head of a Chinese company, on May 16. Japanese police accused him of issuing false work certificates to 350 Chinese people between 2019 and 2023, helping them obtain residency permits. Wang Jiarui admitted knowing that these Chinese people did not have jobs in Japan but still issued work certificates for them to obtain residency permits. Another case occurred in Osaka, where Osaka police also arrested Lu Luo, from the company Eternal International Human Resources, on May 16. Lu Luo was involved in similar behavior to obtain detention permits for a company in China. The head of Eternal International and 6 employees were also arrested. This company issued detention certificates to 550 foreigners every month, allowing them to work illegally in Japan, including Chinese, Vietnamese, and Pakistani nationals. Japanese police have recently discovered a series of such cases, indicating that the situation is quite serious. News Report 9. According to American media reports, U.S. President Biden and former President Trump will hold 2 televised debates on June 27 and September 10. Biden, in a video released on May 15, challenged Trump, saying he was willing to debate and joking that Trump might be free on Wednesday. Trump responded on social media, saying he was ready to debate Biden and requested more than 2 debates, with the venue being a very large location. These 2 debates will be hosted by CNN and ABC. CNN stated that the debate on June 27 will be held in Georgia and will not have an audience to ensure that the candidates make full use of their time. Biden's aides believe that the debate could expose Trump's position on issues such as abortion, which could damage Trump. Trump's aides, on the other hand, believe that Biden is prone to verbal mistakes, so the debate will amplify voters' concerns about the 81-year-old presidential candidate. These 2 debates break the tradition of U.S. presidential election debates, which are usually hosted by the Presidential Debate Commission and typically consist of 3 debates. This year's presidential debates, hosted by the U.S. Presidential Debate Commission, are scheduled for September 16 in Texas, October 1 in Virginia, and October 9 in Utah. News Report 10. In recent times, electric vehicles in China have been frequently involved in accidents, including brake failures, spontaneous combustion, and electrical leakage. In the early hours of May 16, 7 electric vehicles caught fire and were completely destroyed while charging at a BYD4S store in Qingkou Town, Fuzhou City, Fujian Province. Yan Fengmin, former director of the Enforcement and Inspection Department of the General Administration of Quality Supervision, Inspection, and Quarantine, revealed at the Automotive New Ecology Development Conference last September that the rate of electric vehicle fires increased by 32% in the first quarter of last year, with an average of 8 electric vehicles catching fire every day. On May 13, a netizen recounted on social media how his father, driving a BYD electric vehicle for hire, almost died due to electrical leakage from the BYD. The video shows that after realizing that the vehicle was malfunctioning, the father promptly pulled over and informed the passengers. He ended up in the ICU due to electric shock-induced brain hemorrhage and aspiration pneumonia. Additionally, at the end of last month, a Huawei Weltme 7 Plus rear-ended another vehicle on a highway, resulting in 3 deaths. However, none of the airbags in the car deployed, and the doors could not be opened, leading to the 3 individuals burning to death inside the vehicle. Chinese netizens commented that China's electric vehicles are called industrial waste, and the problem of unreliable quality is becoming more and more serious as the stock of electric vehicles in China grows. News Report 11. Chinese media, Cover News, reported that interactive platforms such as TikTok, Weibo, and Xiaohongshu announced on May 15 that they will crack down on content related to showing off wealth and flaunting luxury, including showing off mansions, luxury cars, and flaunting their status as second-generation rich. They will completely block these videos and posts. The Cyberspace Administration of China, CAC, has recently launched a special action to clean up the internet, focusing on cracking down on behavior related to showing off wealth. Xiaohongshu has publicized some typical cases, such as a user posting notes boasting that they cannot come up with 30,000 in a month, which is considered to spread negative values and have fraud risks, leading to their account being banned. Weibo also listed some content that cannot appear, such as using the highest price as a gimmick for luxury car evaluations, mansion displays, etc., and has cleared more than 1,100 posts and imposed restrictions or closures on 27 accounts. TikTok handled 4,701 videos and 11 accounts from May 1 to 7 to prevent showing off wealth from causing social dissatisfaction. News Report 12. Bloomberg News reported that 46 middle school students who were preparing to study abroad in the United States during the summer vacation were all rejected in front of the U.S. Embassy in China. These 46 students were divided into 2 study abroad groups, planning to depart from July to August, stay in the United States for 14 days, and charge 70,000 yuan per student. According to the report, the study abroad training institutions conducted interviews and training for students in front of the embassy on how to answer visa officers' questions. However, when the visa officer asked the students if they would stay in the United States, some students said they would stay there and not return to China, leading to all of them being rejected. Some parents complained that they rushed to Beijing in the middle of the night and prepared for several months, but did not expect to mess up. The summer vacation is approaching, and many Chinese parents are preparing for their children to study abroad in the United States for the summer vacation. According to a report by iMedia Consulting, the market size of China's study abroad economy reached 146.9 billion yuan last year, an increase of 60% year-on-year. Shangyou News reported that the cost of studying abroad in the United States for 1 week this summer is 48,000 yuan, and studying abroad in the UK is 42,000 yuan. At least 60,000 yuan is required for 2 weeks. Now there are a large number of training institutions in China offering such services, but the quality varies, so parents need to be cautious when choosing. News Report 13. The foreign ministers of the 46 member countries of the European Commission will meet in France on May 17 to discuss support for Ukraine and other matters. The meeting will decide to establish an international registration mechanism in The Hague to record Ukraine's losses in the war, in order to hold Russia accountable after the war and seek compensation. The losses caused by the Ukraine war include casualties, property damage, and environmental destruction. The European Commission will also request the Secretary-General to prepare for the establishment of a special court to try Russia for its aggression against Ukraine. This meeting coincides with the 75th anniversary of the founding of the European Commission, reflecting the European Commission's commitment to defending European democracy, human rights, and the rule of law. Since the outbreak of the Ukraine war in February 2022, Russia has been excluded from the European Commission.